So I'm Gen Z, or I guess technically elder Gen Z, or a zillennial if you want to call it that. And there's something that I've noticed about our culture, especially online. Okay, I've noticed that it's no longer enough to simply dislike a thing or things. We've now made it a moral obligation to judge someone's entire character based on liking a thing, liking a movie, liking an artist, liking a song, whatever it may be. And I think that this is kind of becoming an issue, genuinely. Everything's been getting moralized today, right? The media in general, video games, specific game publishers, musical artists, movies, even like cultural things like drinking alcohol or maybe even influencing, like being an influencer, being a content creator. All these things have now some kind of moral attachment assigned to them. For example, it's not enough now to say that game sucks. You have to take it a step further and say you're supporting a greedy company. How disturbing of you. I can't believe you would support them. And mind you, the only allegation is just that they're a greedy company, which is completely subjective, by the way. No matter what you feel about that company, that's subjective, right? You are equating a company's, wrongdoing with the consumer who is just enjoying something. That, to me, is just complete and utter bullshit, really. And in theory, this is actually really good, right? Because I think accountability, that's great, right? Criticism is actually super healthy, especially if it's constructive. And I do think that powerful people abusing that power should absolutely be called out, right? However, I do think that there is a line, and I don't really know where the line is. That's kind of why I'm making this video, to hear people's opinions. But I think that basically, I really don't think that enjoying something is endorsing everything about it, right? And I think this also goes with if you like a musical artist, for example, right? Just because you like an artist does not mean that you agree with every single tweet that they've made, right? Whether, that was a tweet from 10 years ago or yesterday or in the future, which by the way is a thing. I've seen it happen where someone, they like this person before they've done this controversial thing, then they do some controversial thing, and suddenly the person who likes that artist is now just as bad, which I think is really trivializing, honestly. Honestly, right, if your favorite artist right now in the big 26 is Diddy, right, dude, that is really eyebrow raising, and I would say understandable if you're going to be getting I guess sort of canceled over that, right? However, again, I do think that if you follow an influencer who is under some fire for some sort of drama or whatever, I don't really think that's the same thing, okay? Do we really need moral alignment with every single creator? You tell me. I don't know. If we do, what happens to culture? What happens to the internet subculture, right? Because for me personally, I've always been under the belief that celebrities, their job is to entertain, right? Ideally, I would love to, I would love for if every single one of my favorite, artists was perfectly aligned with my own personal morals. But I also understand that that's just not feasible from a human being's perspective. Right, we all have microscopic and macro differences between our beliefs, because obviously our beliefs are shaped by a multitude of things, including our upbringing, our educational background, our class differences. There's so much, right? Racial. There's so many aspects to where we get our beliefs from. I don't know, guys, but basically my point here is I do think criticizing things is completely normal, but I do think that judging everyone who enjoys them, it just feels like a different thing. Liking something shouldn't automatically make you morally suspect, genuinely. I can smell it from a mile away that people are going to somehow extrapolate here and say that I'm defending some, nefarious celebrity or something like that, and I am not. I'm absolutely not, but, nuance is dead on this platform, and I refuse to allow myself to stoop to that level of needing to, believe that everything is either black or white, okay? And that's another big issue. I think that, they go hand in hand. But that's another big issue with the Gen Z, guys. We cannot just think like that. Do not allow short-form content to make you forget that nuance is the primary belief. Things are not black and white. They are morally in between most of the time. And that's where we have a hopefully constructive discussion over particular topics. You know what I'm saying?